Hey everybody, it's Ken Compton with the Savvy Inspector, hanging out with Coach William again today. Coach William, welcome, sir.
Here we go again.
Yeah, all we do is make videos. I mean, we don't have anything else to do, just make videos.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about the workshop breakout sessions. We're excited about it. The workshop October 5th through the 7th, 2017 in a beautiful city, Arlington, Texas. We're excited to be on the out west this year. Our Texas inspectors in California and Arizona saying, gosh, how come we have to see the workshop in Florida or someplace on the East Coast? So know that we're going to be there in your town. So we're looking forward to seeing you. And Coach William, today we're talking about becoming a multi-inspector firm. There's a lot to think about, isn't there? But when you're a one-man shop, and today business is so good that a lot of one-man shops that said, I'm only going to be a one-man shop are now rethinking it because they're having to turn away business. So there's a lot to think about, don't you think?
Absolutely, and it's nerve-wracking. I remember when I first made the hire, and we've helped so many Savvy members get through that first step. And it's like I said in one of the earlier videos, our worst enemy a lot of times is ourself and our lack of confidence in ourselves, or not having the resources to lean on to move forward. And I mean, you've got that here with the Savvy. It's all laid out pretty much in black and white. And I don't want to get into too depth with this, but the number one thing that we always hear is, what's it going to cost me to make that first hire? How much business am I going to basically lose to make that first hire? And it's such a big misconception. And I don't know why folks think that way, that when you make a hire, it's going to cost you. And it never does. I mean, if you do this correctly, every hire that you make increases your revenue, and at some point you can get to where I want to get back to, not inspecting, and you're running a business. You're a business owner, you're a businessman, and you're not out there hands-on inspecting. And when you get to that point, your whole perspective changes on this business. It's a business. Instead of being a technician inspector out there, you become a business owner, and you start thinking and operating differently.
You sure do. And I will tell you, William, of course, you know my story, and Savvy members who have been around me for a long time know my story. I started a home inspection company in 1997 called Southern Home Inspection Services, still there today. I sold it in 2010. And I wasn't a home inspector. I wasn't a home inspector for the first 5 years I owned the company. I'm a marketer, okay? And what happened, we started off with 8 home inspectors the day we opened the door. So it was no transition for me. I built our business plan and our marketing plan as a multi-inspector firm from day one. But I'm the rare exception. Wouldn't you say that, Coach William?
You're absolutely nuts, is what I
said. You don't know what a home inspector is.
I mean, that's a great perception to come from, and I use that on a lot of the Savvy members is like, because all inspectors, most every inspector that I'm aware of, came into this business as a technician. I'm going to take the class, I'm going to be a great home inspector, and that's what I'm going to do. And then you find out that, hey, you get busy. You're inspecting 2, sometimes 3 a day. I was a 3-a-day guy forever. And you find out that you're just in this vicious cycle, and that's as good as it's going to get because you don't have time to work on or build your business. You're always working in it instead of on it. So one of the early on things that Ken said to me that just was a big smack in the face was, stop being a home inspector and start being a marketer of home inspection services. Wow, what a concept. So when I put that hat on, we started making hires. And coming into the whole inspection business with that mentality of being a business and a business owner is a complete different direction than just I'm going to be a home inspector. So I'm excited about this. I know we've helped so many Savvy members in this direction, and we can help you too.
I will tell you, we embarked on a crazy experiment. Really wasn't an experiment. It was a class. We the coaching staff at the Savvy Inspector turned 18 or 19 one-man shops into multi-inspector firms in 6 months. And they all turned into multi-inspector firms. I think one of them decided that maybe that wasn't right for them after they got an inspector. But all of them got an inspector and got going, and some of them have several inspectors now. And they really love it because what happens is when they go on vacation, they still get paid. Guess what? You can come to the workshop and the employees are still working. I mean, that was one of the beautiful things for you, wasn't it, Coach William and Sherry? I mean, gosh, you guys got a life.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, right there again, business, trying to run a business. And if you're a business owner, doesn't mean you have to be in there hands-on doing everything every day. The whole ideal is that this business can run itself and you can just concentrate on making the business come in or growing the business. So yeah, what Ken's talking about, I think it was back in '08 maybe. No, yeah, '08, because that first workshop was '07. And so in '08, over that course of, from that very first workshop, as we drove home, we discussed how are we going to hire, because we knew that I was already crazy busy, and if we're going to implement some more of these strategies, there's no way. There's no sense in implementing them. If I'm going to be a one-man shop, I'm already booked. So we decided then that we wanted to grow, and I made that hire. And so we're back there in '08, and I believe we were in Fort Myers. Anyway, Sherry and I are sitting on the beach, and I'm scheduling this inspector that I've hired, booking him out big time. And I looked at Sherry and I said, this is the way this business is done. And we've never looked back. We're almost 9 inspectors strong now. That's our number to stay at 9. It's always up and down. Employees come and go, and you have issues and things that you have to deal with. But yeah, I mean, I would never go back to trying to just be a one-man shop. And not that there's anything against that. If that's what you do and that's the way you want to do it, I totally understand that. But when you're sick, you're not getting paid. You can't take a vacation, without losing money. There's just so many variables, risks, if you will, business-wise, as a one-man shop that you do away with as a multi-inspector firm. Sherry and I go to these workshops. We're gone sometimes almost 3 weeks. The last go around, we took a cruise. And then went down to the workshop. We were gone for maybe 15 days, and my business and office and inspectors and everything ran just as smooth as if I were here. And that's such a blessing, and I owe a lot of that to the Savvy Inspector.
And I think, Coach William, you know it as well, but your business is really worth money. You're not generating all the leads. You have systems in place. You have staff in place that does it. And when you get ready to retire, somebody will buy that business, whether it's internally or externally. So you've really built a business, and you've gotten your life back. As a matter of fact, until this recent little hiccup with one of your key players getting ill, the fact of the matter is you guys have set yourself up as you and Sherry set their strategic leadership position. Here's what we're going to do this year. And then you guys basically operate as board members.
Yeah, we call it, it's our favorite thing. We create and delegate, and then you just manage it, So that's what we've done. And it's even gotten to the point now what Ken's leading to, losing one of my key guys, the illness involved, and hopefully he'll get through this. But he was managing my multi-inspectors, the training, the inspector meetings, everything. He was
all
on
that.
top of it. Yeah, all that. So with him out of the picture, I'm the only one left to step back in that place. So what do I need to do? I need to hire another one, right? So that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think getting back to becoming a multi-inspector firm, I think one of the biggest fears that every single shop inspector faces is nobody can do this like I do it. Nobody will be as good as I am. And you know what? You're right. They won't be as good as you are. But good enough is good enough. And it took a long time for me to get over that as well. It may be, it's the same results, maybe delivered a little differently because they're a different person. Maybe they inspect in a different style or form or fashion, but the end result is the client gets what they need, the real estate agent is happy, and we move forward and make another hire and keep doing that. So there's just so much power in numbers. And I was sharing with Ken the other day, once you get past a spot where you got 4 or 5 inspectors, the power in numbers even becomes more critical, because I have sometimes that I overlook a little something that one of the inspectors did because I have to have him. I'm so right now with the market the way it is, I'd hate to let somebody go. But if you have extra inspectors on staff, you're more apt to hold everybody's toe to the line. If you're thinking about being a multi-inspector firm, you need to get in here and take these breakout sessions. You'll learn a ton to make this happen and get past the misconception that it's going to cost you, because every hire that I've ever made me more money.
Right. When we talk to one-man shops, and we hear this for all these years, and I've been coaching since 2006 and owned a home inspection company for 10 years before that. We hear, when I'm marketing, I'm not inspecting, and when I'm inspecting, I'm not marketing, and so their income is very cyclical. And so what happens is, the reason why it is because they're just working in the business and not on it. So you bring in your first inspector, and then what happens, that person is the employee who does full-time work, inspections. That frees you up to do other things, to bring in rain. Your most valuable position in the company isn't doing home inspections or answering the phone. Let somebody else do that. But the fact of the matter is, you can work on the business and make that business really grow. And when Coach William got freed up from having to do inspections every day, and I mean, he's doing some now because of an illness of one of the folks, but when he works on his business and focuses on his business, the business grows. I mean, you guys will be a 7-figure revenue generator this year, not because you did home inspections, right? I mean, it's because
exactly
you brought the brain power, you and Sherry, to make the thing go and grow. And you brought in people in all capacities in your firm to do the daily stuff, but that's not you.
That's
you know,
right.
Coach William, I think this is something important. I think we should just share this here. I think that if you listen to this call, you should get the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's called The One Thing, and you should read that. Whether you're a multi-inspector firm or a one-man shop thinking about being a multi-inspector firm, or even if you're just a one-man shop and don't even care about being a multi-inspector firm. Because the theme of it is, what is the one thing that I could do that would make the big business bigger, better, and we could achieve our goals? Okay, that's my one big thing. But what's the one big thing I got to do this month? What's the one big thing I got to do this week and today to make those things happen? Because really, the value is in what activities you're engaged in. And I think if you're going to achieve your goals, regardless of where you want to be in the business, you need to get focused on that. I know it helps you guys.
Yeah, and it's we're talking about, if you want to break it down, we're talking about time blocking and how important that is. And I know a lot of folks struggle with that. I did in the beginning. If you're like I was back then, you wake up every morning and just let the day come and deal with what may hit you in the face. But by time blocking, having a plan, which he's alluding to, it gives you direction every day, so you yourself know that this is the one thing, this is the domino I need to knock down today to knock down the rest of the dominoes, the lead domino. So, I think that's a killer book. And again, just having, plan your work and work your plan, of course, is what that goes back to. But, as a single one-man shop, you're capped. There's only X amount of dollars that you can make, because you can only do X amount of inspections in a day. But if you go to a multi-inspector firm, I mean, the potential for income is really endless. It depends on, how well you handle the market and build a business. So we have so far exceeded my dreams of what I thought this would ever be. I tell Ken all the time, I have to stop and smell the roses and count my blessings, because you get so wrapped up in trying to make the phone ring the next time that you overlook how good it has been and how good it is. But I was back in the day when I was a single inspector. If you'd have told me that I was sitting here today approaching the $1 million mark and having 9 inspectors under my belt, I'd have laughed at you. But it's happened. It doesn't happen overnight. It's one small bite of the elephant at a time, and keep moving forward. So if you're thinking about being a multi-inspector firm, highly recommend that you, even if you're not, you should know what's in it for you. This is a great breakout session path to go down.
We teach every day on this class, so we're going to do it in 90 minutes. But we have the mind maps for you. We have all of the resources you need. We're going to address your fears. Oh, this person will do something out in the field and make a mistake, and I'll get sued or lose my agents, and nobody, like William said, nobody can do it better than me. And we're going to get into all of those things and get you past that, the mindset, and then give you the technical details of here's what you need to do first, second, third, on down. So if you want to be a multi-inspector firm, you get these things knocked out in advance. We'll talk to you about recruiting ads, where to recruit, the type of employees to recruit. We'll talk about testing and other things to increase the success of a hire. It's a great breakout session, so if you're thinking about becoming a multi-inspector firm, even if it isn't right away, you should come to this breakout session, because it'll open your eyes on how powerful it is. One of the things we do first is the math, how much money you can earn off each employee, and that really gets people's eyes opened. So it's a good one. And we'll even teach them how to pay them, won't we, William? We won't pay them, we'll teach you how to pay them.
Perfect. Everybody's got their preferences on that, so it depends on one's good for one person, one's maybe not so good for the other. So we'll talk about the different ways to do that, because I do it a little differently.
Yeah, this is a great breakout session. Don't miss it. And check out, there'll be other videos on breakout sessions coming up in the near future. July 31st is the drop dead date on the early bird special. We're giving away a infrared camera, a website and blog, coaching hours, you just name it, we're giving it away. But you've got to get your tickets purchased before July 31st, 2017. And I just can't encourage you strongly enough to book your hotel right after you book, you grab your seat. Our room block is pretty large, but I'm afraid we're not going to have enough rooms, and I don't want you to have to stay in a hotel next door. So as soon as you grab your tickets, go ahead and grab your hotel reservations. Coach William, thanks for being on the call, and we'll do some more breakout sessions soon.